If you voted for Donald Trump in 2016 but won't in 2020, what changed your mind? 42 years old. I never voted for anybody because I grew up believing it didn't matter who got elected. They were all just different brand names for the same crap. I will be voting this time because I see now that it can matter who's in that office. Next story. I was barely 18 when I voted. I was still a senior in high school. I grew up in an extremely conservative town with opinionated parents and a lack of access to the outside world. I wasn't allowed on any social media. Then I went to college and met people of other races/creeds/sexualities, and I learned empathy. I regret my choice, and I know that the Trump administration has caused a lot of pain and suffering for a lot of people. I am trying to do my part by educating myself and calling people out on their crap whenever I'm in my hometown. Next story. I'm so embarrassed to admit it. Hillary has just always been drilled into my brain as the epitome of limousine liberal establishment candidate, and I was livid with how Bernie got shafted, voted for Bernie in the primary. When election day came, I was coming from work at an auto shop. They were all pumped on Trump, and I thought, worst case scenario, he F up and looks really dumb and hurts the GOP, right? It's not like the people around him would actually let him cause any real harm, right? I was really wrong. Edit. A ton of people are asking, I don't get it. How could you flip from Bernie to Trump? TLDR, I was 24, naive, and more focused on F the two-party system than hey, let's make this country a good place for everyone to live. I was raised pretty conservative, and Clinton was like a swear word in my house. I was raised Mormon, so sex scandals are just about the worst thing a president could do, back then at least. I left the house in 2010, and was much less exposed to the news at college, BYU. I served a Mormon mission from 2013 to 2015 and missed a lot of the news cycle of Trump during that time too. The only political ideal I really had at the time was F the two-party system. I felt like Bernie was a great answer, and would represent the best interests of the people. Hillary was so ingrained in me as evil I couldn't see her in a more realistic light. So, since Bernie was out, and Trump seemed like less of an ingrained in the system candidate, I fell for the last-minute hype and voted for him. I never said it was logical, just that I regretted it, haha. Edit 2. Some people pointed out I didn't answer what changed my mind. I never really liked Trump as a candidate, so it didn't take much to change my mind. Honestly, I think a lot of people that are responding are being disingenuous and think that Trump hasn't done anything wrong. I don't claim to be an expert, but I feel pretty strongly that Trump is objectively a poor leader, and that should be apparent to everyone by now. For one, he has absolutely bungled the COVID crisis, and his desire to downplay it for political gain is gross. There's the one thing. It wasn't the one that changed my mind, it was probably how much he was golfing from the get-go, or me developing a better sense of empathy and leaving a toxic conservative lifestyle behind that did that, but I think it's good enough to change anybody's mind who isn't Trump-die. Next story. I got stuck voting for what I thought was the lesser of two evils, and honestly, I was very influenced by my father. If influenced is being threatened to get kicked out of the house if I voted for someone else. Don't get me wrong, I didn't like Clinton, and even now, I realize I don't like either candidate. I just want it to stop. I don't want a leader that will divide us more, and while I'm more centric in politics, I think we need someone to bring us together. I don't know for sure if Biden is the man for the job, but all I know is Trump isn't going to make America any more great. I don't agree 100% with Trump or Biden, and I'd if there will ever be a candidate that will align perfectly with my views. But Trump had his time, and look at the country. We're divided, at each other's throats, fighting and rioting and trying to make change while we have a president who is openly mocking everything. I just want peace. I don't know if Biden will bring it, but I know Trump won't. Edit. Holy crap. Did not expect this to gain that much traction. A lot of people are asking why I didn't lie. It's because of something that happened when I was a kid that involved lying to my parents. Or rather, my sister lied and my parents could prove which of us had done the bad thing. I was 8, they were 5. And we faced a really bad punishment that I really do not want to elaborate on because it's making me a little anxious just talking about it, even loosely. I know I'm a grown adult now, but that stuff doesn't go away. I cannot lie well, and it's because of it. Even if I was 18 when I voted and my sisters were 15, and we were old enough to not let that happen again, well, it only takes one event to really F with your psyche. So please stop asking why I didn't lie. I was trying to, in a backwards way, protect myself and my sisters by not lying. I've gone to therapy for it, and I don't talk to my dad much anymore. Please stop asking why I didn't lie. Next story. I was 24. I've grown. Matured. Found empathy for others. Honestly, I started to grow frustrated with the constant tweeting, lies and whataboutism. I also stopped watching Fox News. Next story. I was a 18-year-old high school kid in the rural South. Family was always Southern Baptist and conservative. I wasn't really to the point where I held my own political beliefs, just basically took my family's beliefs as fact. I've grown up, I've changed, the world has changed even. 22-year-old me definitely wouldn't have voted for Trump in 2016, and I won't be voting for him this year either. While I still do hold many conservative beliefs still, I am far from the alt-right/GOP voters who will be voting for Trump in 2020. Next story. I didn't, but almost voted for him in 2016 thinking he was a successful businessman that would grow our economy and pay off our insane debt. Instead we got the largest deficit, pre-COVID, tax cuts for wealthy, and found out he really wasn't that successful, Just a con man who didn't pay contractors. Hard not to make money when you're a professional cheater. Edit. Reminders. I did not vote for Trump. Please stop asking me how/why I could have voted for him. I hate Trump. But I'm starting to realize why Trump supporters feel so isolated and defend him. When everyone attacks me for my honest opinion and even at my own admission that I briefly drank the orange Kool-Aid, it just pushes me away from the Democratic Party. This sort of discourse is why our country is so divided, and why Trump can hold on to his base. You're playing into what Trump wants by relentlessly attacking his base like they aren't human for considering him. I'm an independent who cares about the economy, and for a minute he seemed like a good choice. But after seeing more of the content of his character, I voted for Hillary. Instead of saying how could you drop the condescending attitude and listen for a minute. That's how you can help reunite this country and get rid of Trump in November. Next story. I voted third party because I wanted to send a message with my vote. I had been thinking that my vote wouldn't matter. He didn't have a chance in hell, and even if he won, he wouldn't be able to get anything done because the GOP would have a spine and stand up against things that went against their mission statement or made them look bad. Mud on my face, there. Next story. I didn't vote, but my dad did. He said that all presidents need to have a straight mind, strong and bold. Then when riots happened, he learned that Donald Trump wasn't the strong, bold leader he thought of. He hid in his bunker not because people were going to raid the White House, he was just scared. He couldn't give a damn about the people asking for change. Instead of actually reforming corrupt police, he just hid. Walled of the White House so no one could go near it. Next story. Hello. I'm English and don't have a vote in this, and believe me, we have enough problems of our own over here, but I pay a lot of attention to American politics. It's in the news a lot here at the moment just because of how bat crap crazy Trump is. Anyway, I saw a headline the other day that said officials in China were secretly hoping Trump was going to get re-elected because he destabilizes the USA so much another 4 years of him will really help China become a more dominant superpower globally as he diminishes the state's power internationally. I just thought, Jesus, that is as big a damning indictment against the man as you could possibly get. He's everything that's wrong with the world today, emo. I'll cross my fingers for you all for the election. Good luck. Next story. I couldn't vote in 2016 because I didn't send a request for an absentee ballot soon enough, but I was going to vote for Trump because of his plans for the military. I was out processing from the army and wanted to make sure they would get what they'd need to win and survive in combat. But after seeing him handle COVID and claim he was not responsible for anything, that really pissed me the F off. In the army, I learned as a leader you are responsible for everything your element does or fails to do, from the team leader right up to the chief of staff. The President of the United States is responsible for everything that happens in this country, whether they like it or not. I am not voting for Trump this coming election.